We're here to talk today about how generative AI is evolving into agentic AI and how this opens up all new ideas around automation, autonomy, and intelligence in traditional and blockchain native systems. So just a quick show of hands, how many of you are working on implementing generative AI functionality into your applications? Yeah, so quite a bit. So Gartner just published their latest trends, and they estimate that by 2028, 1/3 of all applications are going to have some sort of generative AI and agentic AI specifically built in. So the traction is real. And so I'm Dimitri Restaino. I am a senior solutions architect with AWS. So that means I get to work across a bunch of customers, helping them to implement the latest technology. And lately, that has been a ton of generative AI and agentic AI. So very happy to be here to kind of share what we're seeing out in the field. So first, we'll talk a little bit about what the technology is and how we got here. Then we'll talk about some of the specific services that Amazon has in the space to help you build. And then we'll take a look at a specific architecture and showcase some of these topics live in a demo. So by now, I'm sure that most people have been introduced to generative AI in one form or the other. Most people, interact with it on a day-to-day basis now. But at its core, generative AI is utilizing vast amounts of data and generating based on the context and similarities it sees in that data. So I like this visual a lot. You can see as more context gets added, the next word to be generated gets more and more accurate. So that allows it to produce content similar enough to human-generated content for a variety of real-world use cases. The initial use cases were, text summarization, question answering, code generation, things like that. But now we're seeing a ton of more and more complex tasks being handled by generative AI. And what makes this technology so game-changing is how approachable it is. Many of these models are general-purpose models, and they don't really need to be adjusted to handle the vast majority of these tasks. So you can use prompt engineering or RAG patterns to inject the data that you need at the time of invoke. And then if you do need to fine-tune a model for a specific use case, you also have that possibility as well. So now let's look at the evolution. So initially, these systems acted as assistants. They were following rules and capable of automating repetitive tasks, but still required some oversight. And then things started shifting into the concept of generative AI agents. And we defined AI agents as autonomous software systems that leverage AI to reason, plan, and complete tasks on behalf of humans or systems. So this could be tasks that are a little bit more complex, like compiling research, paying bills, or planning a trip. So what makes these agents even more powerful is that they can think iteratively, so they can evaluate results as they come back, and then adjust their approach and continue working towards a goal. So they almost have like retry logic kind of built into them. Now, as we mature into agentic AI, we're talking about complete systems that don't just assist, they act. And so that means that they can decompose goals, reason through multi-step tasks, and evoke tools or even other collaborating agents autonomously. And so it's not really about having an assistant follow instructions anymore. It's about delegating outcomes to these intelligent systems that really handle the how things get done. So we'll now talk a little bit about some of AWS's offerings in the space. So the main one I want to call out is Amazon Bedrock, which is a fully managed service that provides access to top-tier foundation models through a unified API. So this is for people that are building applications. It is a REST API that you can call over HTTP or using the SDK, and you are able to change the model that you're using just by changing out a parameter. And we have a whole variety of models from Amazon, but we also partner with a ton of other companies that are kind of leading in the space, such as Anthropic. The Claude models are all very popular. Meta, Mistral AI. There's really a ton of options based on your use case. You might want to select a different model that'll handle a different task. Another really cool part about Bedrock is that it's primarily consumption-based. So you only pay for the tokens that you send in and you receive back out from the service. And then on top of that, it has very easy integrations, and it also has the ability to have safety guardrails for responsible AI and just making sure that the data that is coming in and out is what you're looking for. Lastly, as far as security, the data that you send in is never shared with the model providers or anything like that, so you can be kind of assured that your data isn't getting spread anywhere or used to train the models. Then we have Bedrock agents, which use the reasoning of foundation models to break down user requests, gather relevant information, call APIs, and are able to efficiently complete tasks. So first, a customer would select a model and then give it a few instructions in natural language. So for example, you tell it that you are an XRPL transaction assistant. You give it access to the ledger, and then that agent can autonomously retrieve transaction data from the XRPL, verify payment statuses, check account balances, and things like that, and then present that back out to the user in user-friendly format. And that's able to really abstract a lot of the complexity of the queries that are going on behind the scenes from the users themselves. The latest addition to the Amazon Bedrock Agents portfolio is this multi-agent collaboration capability, which allows you to orchestrate teams of agents where each agent is handling its own special role to handle more complex problems. So the main supervisor agent acts like the team leader, and then it is able to hand out the task to other specialized agents. And this lets you tackle bigger challenges and gives you the ability to kind of scale these AI workloads through more and more agents to get closer and closer to the tasks that you're looking to accomplish. And then here's just a little visual of some of the services. We have hundreds of services all over whatever aspect of infrastructure that you're looking for, but I'm going to call out some of the generative AI services. So at the bottom, we have the more foundational infrastructure level. So these are we have our chips on the right, AWS Trainium and Inferentia. and these are extremely cost-effective for any machine learning workloads. And then you could orchestrate those using our SageMaker platform if you want to get involved with model building or fine-tuning or anything like that that's a little bit more specific. And then if you come up a level, then you have Bedrock, which we were just speaking about. And this is really geared towards people building applications. So it's REST API based. And so you mostly interact with it through a very easy to use SDK. And you can switch out the models just by switching out a parameter, adjust some of the tuning of the model, just a couple of different parameters in the request. Super, super powerful. And then the last, or top layer here is some of our fully managed applications that we've built on top of the technology if you want to really get started quick. So Amazon Q Business is a service I want to call out here. So basically, you just give it your data, and it comes with its own front end and user management and things like that, so you can really start to make value out of these tools. So now we're going to talk through an architecture that was put together by one of my colleagues. It's published at this link in our AWS samples repo. In the published version, it uses Bitcoin and Ethereum networks, but for this demo, I extended it for the XRPL. And I just want to make sure this is definitely not for production usage. This is really just to demonstrate some of the concepts that we talked about and the art of the possible. So up top, we have our Bedrock supervisor agent. So this is going to be the front door and take in the user requests and then figure out where it needs to go and handle the main routing logic. So the first path is going to be querying historic ledger data. At AWS, we publish a couple of the historic ledger data of some of the popular blockchain networks. So XRPL is one of them. It's free to use. I recommend if you all are doing a project like that, very, very good resource. And then this collaborator agent is handling the conversion of queries coming in from users, turning them into SQL queries to make the querying more efficient. So that's what's happening at that collaborator agent, is that conversion. And then the Lambda runs the Athena query on top of that data stored in S3. So that makes it a lot more accurate and fast compared to doing like a contextual search or something like that. Then the next path here we have is a knowledge base. So that's another functionality of Bedrock. And in this scenario, we have blockchain news. So through Bedrock knowledge base, we have a web crawler set up to crawl CoinDesk. So this is periodically scraping some of the latest articles and then storing them in this vector store for us. It's using OpenSearch under the covers, but you have your choice of whatever vector store you want to use. There's a couple of industry standard options there. And then it takes that and presents it back to the supervisor agent in a more usable way. Then the next path is a more straightforward tool usage. So Lambda is our serverless compute. So here we just have a very basic API call to a CoinGecko API, which is just querying the current price of a token. So the supervisor agent handles understanding what token the user is asking about and then sends that to the Lambda function, which is accepting it as a parameter into the function, into the API call. And then last, please don't scream or run out of the room. We are handling wallet management using the AI here. So we have a Lambda, which is doing, I think it's using that XRPL JS library. And then it's keeping the private key in the key management service. And then it's using that to sign the transactions and send them to a node running either, I think in this demo we're using a public RPC endpoint for a testnet, but you could also be running your node on EC2, or if right now Ethereum, you could use Amazon managed blockchain, but that's not XRPL yet. Okay, so now we're going to hop over to a demo to see some of this live. So those unfamiliar, this is what AWS looks like, the console. So this is the Bedrock console. And just to kind of showcase, here's the model catalog. And it's loading, but you have the choice of a ton of different models here. You can see there's pages and pages of them to choose from. And then you can run them through either just regular invoke or use them for agents. And in this case, I have here our supervisor agent and then that collaborator agent, which is handling the querying of the historic data. So we're going to go into the supervisor agent. And here we have just a little UI so that we can test it. You wouldn't really use this in a live system. This is just kind of to make sure that things are connected properly. And we're going to run some queries here. So bear with me. So these models are non-deterministic. So that means that different queries that you send in, you could send the same query in multiple times, and you could get a different response every time. So on top of it being a live demo, we have that aspect as well. So first, we're going to query how many transactions there were in 2024. And here, you could see it starts to call the collaborator agent. And if we look through what's going on the side, has some instructions, and then it's actually thinking through here, and it says, the user's asking about the number of transactions in 2024, and this is what I need to do, and then it starts working through it step by step. And you can see kind of the thought process of the AI. So it comes back, it says the number of XRPL transactions in 2024 is this. So then I can ask, is that an increase or decrease from 2023? And now this is just kind of interacting with an agent, as at its core. So I want to flex some of this functionality, and then we can see, what we were talking about agentic AI and asking for outcomes instead. So it says, yes, it's an increase from 423 million, which is huge. So then we can ask it, okay, what was the general news sentiment around this time? So we got mixed this time, so there's some positive news and then some not so positive news. And then you can actually have it give you kind of sources of where it found that data. So if we actually were to come through here, it would talk through some of the exact articles that it's pulling from. And then we can go into some of those wallet management queries. So if we ask it, what's my wallet address? So here's my wallet address. And if we want to check my current balance, so right now I'm sitting at around 86 XRP. And then last, we'll just run some queries here talking about the current price. So this is reaching out to CoinGecko behind the scenes. But that supervisor agent is really delegating for the tasks that aren't that quick, but then going straight to the source because it was able to get this through that Lambda function, that API call, very quick. 226. So then if we want to run a transaction, we could do that. So here we'll say, can you send 10 XRP to my cold wallet at here? So it comes back, it says, this is important, please confirm or deny this. So I'll confirm it. So then I get my transaction hash. And then if I check, what is my balance now? So you can see that that 10 XRP was taken off the top. So those were all just those basic agent queries. But then I want to talk through this query here in a little bit more detail. So here I'm asking, I want to move some XRP to cold storage for security reasons. Can you analyze the last month of XRP transaction activity, check current network conditions, get the latest XRP news sentiment, review my current balance, and autonomously decide how much XRP I should transfer, then execute the transfer to my cold wallet sitting here. So this is giving the model access to all of these different things that it can use, and then asking it to make the decision for me and actually execute on that. So even this query, this could be hidden somewhere behind the scenes, abstracted even more away from your users, and that's where the real power of this technology comes into play. How much that you can abstract and derive insight from and build out these agents that do more for the users. So here, if I say this is a bit bigger of a query here. So it's going to run through, it's going to pull all of these this info kind of simultaneously and then combine it and decide what would be the best choice for me. So here we could even see what it's looking at, what it's thinking about. It pulled some articles, it looks like. It's doing quite a bit of thinking. Up. So here it says that the sentiment is mixed. It gives me some reasoning, and then it says, because of this, I've decided to transfer 50 XRP to my cold wallet. So it took 2/3 there and then moved it to my cold wallet, which is actually pretty accurate. So then I can just check again, what is my XRP balance now? So seemed to get some kind of an error there, so it was not successful. So at least it warned me of that, and I can see that my balance remains at 75. But typically that will go through and kind of take that away from the user. But yeah, that's the last query. But thanks a lot. Appreciate it.